call this meeting to order. This is a Livingston Parish Council meeting. Today is June the 27th. It's a little after 6:30 p.m. All right, invocation, we have Mr. Gary Frog Talbert.
Miss Sandy Teal's going to do the invocation.
We have Miss Sandy Teal that's going to say the invocation tonight.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just want to give you all the glory and praise for being able to stand here and the grace that you have on our parish. Lord, we just pray that you keep your hand on us and we acknowledge our need for you. Be here, Lord, with each one of the council members and guide them and give them the wisdom and the discernment that they need to make good decisions for the people that they represent in our parish. Lord, we promise to give you all the glory and praise because you alone are worthy. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. How about Mr. Jeff Ard lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's get this thing started. All right, roll call.
Hey, look, you got a hot dog. I knew you could do it.
Mr. Wascom.
Here.
Mr. Talbert.
Here.
Mr. Mack.
Here.
Mr. Averett. Mr. Lidwell. Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Girlinghouse.
Here.
Mr. Ard.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Okay, agenda item number 5, cell phones. Let's all please turn our cell phones to silence or vibrate so we don't have much disturbance during the meeting. All right, public input. If anybody wishes to discuss or address any agenda item, as that agenda item comes up, you just simply, we'll ask for discussion and you just simply raise your hand and then we'll call you, you can come on up and then you can state your name and address and everything. And then you're welcome to talk about what you want to talk about and we'll listen to what you have to say. All right. Presentations. To the best of my knowledge, we have no presentations tonight. Agenda item number 8, adoption of the minutes from the June 13th, 2019 regular meeting of the council. We have a motion by Tracy Girlinghouse to adopt those minutes. Do we have a second by Mr. Jeff Ard? Is there any discussion from the audience? Any discussion from the council? All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, at this time, I would like to move up agenda item number 14 for discussion. Come on up, Mr. Mark Harrell.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you,
glad to
Mr.
be
Mark.
back. I appreciate it. Number 1 is, I'm trying to see, bear with me. All right, this was the Hurricane Isaac waterway debris. It's so long ago, it's hard to remember that far back. And once we did it, that one we actually did with FEMA funding, and then there was a match to it. We went back and the CDBG group was very gracious and helped us cover some of our cost share, and we was thankful for that. It's just come a point in time where where they're closing out their grants, and they just need a resolution from the council approving the closeout. Everything's been paid, it's over with, but they just need that for their files. So I'm asking for that resolution, please.
All right. Do we have a resolution approving the closeout of the Hurricane Isaac Livingston Parish waterway debris removal project?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. John Wascom. We have a second by Mr. Bubba Harris. Any discussion from the audience? All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right. 14B.
Okay, B is, that is a hazard mitigation grant from this last flood, the Great Flood, 4277. This is a Pine Bluff Road. If you're not familiar with that area, as you turn off of 16 on Pine Bluff, the road makes a pretty significant drop. So when the creek backs up, it floods this one area, and there's a lot of homes back in there. They can't get in or out. First responders can't get in or out until the water goes down. So FEMA has authorized us to move forward with phase 1, which is the engineering. It's one of the first 2 mitigation projects that was approved. So I'm asking for authorization for the parish president to sign a contract with Quality Engineering so we can get started on the phase one.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. John Wascom and we have a second by Scooter Keene, to pass a resolution authorizing the parish president to enter contract negotiations and agreement with Quality Engineering and Surveying LLC to perform engineering services for the Pine Bluff Road drainage improvements. All right, is there any discussion from the audience? Any discussion from the council? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. 14C.
All right, let's see. C is the part of the NRCS funding that we're using to clean your waterways. When NRCS was going out looking behind us to make sure we were turning in proper stuff to get approved, they started coming back with some bank issues. Actually, the first one was on spillers, and they said, Mark, we think we can get it approved to do some bank stabilization. Now, if you remember correctly, after the flood, we turned in quite a few large ones through the hazard mitigation. Hadn't been approved yet, but those will be. But I had no idea we had that many. Spillers Creek has one. Actually, in Mr. Talbert's neighborhood, there's a lot of erosion that happened between the bank of the creek and the sewer pond. And that's the last thing we want. So they told us to do the proper procurement for engineering, and then we can move forward possibly with bank stabilization and correct that. I reached out to the sewer pond company, and they weren't really receptive, so that's one of the ones we're putting in, spillers, but we're gonna have a lot. And some of them may not be but 100 foot long, but we still can get it approved to stabilize them. So in doing so, when we advertised, I was out, but I told the people in the office, pick two companies for that, because we may end up with 200 of them. We don't know. We won't know until we survey everything. So I asked them to pick two firms, and that's what we're hoping to do, is come back and get that done. I think it's going to be approved. You know, we're over $50 million in this grant, and believe it or not, a lot of the creeks that we thought were full of debris are not. Even though the public said it was, we went out, we took photos of everything. A lot of them just don't have a lot of debris in it. And in, you take John Doe Creek, they may say you can do this section, and this section. The stuff in the middle doesn't have anything, so they're not allowing us to do it. So instead of taking a chance to let some of the funding go back, we're going to do the bank stabilization. So I'm asking for approval for the parish president to sign that as well.
Y'all did 2 RFQs on bank stabilization. Y'all did under the hazardous mitigation.
What? No, we didn't do the RFQs on the hazard mitigation. You turn your projects in. Just let's go back up to the one Quality has. When we turn the project in, you don't do RFQs prior. You wait until FEMA sends your approval on phase one. This is your approval on phase one. This is the dollar value you have to work in, and these are the items that you have to perform in phase one. NRCS is basically the same thing. We'll go through and we'll show them what we want to do, and then now the reason we have to do RFQs on that, I can't put a dollar value on it, so they will allow us a certain percentage for the engineering and then cover the bank stabilization.
Do they have a cap on engineering percentages, or is it just?
They have a cap on everything. You can do so much on DAC, you can do so much on engineering, you can do so much on everything. It's just like FEMA. They tell you, this is the items we want you to do, and this is your dollar value. The only thing that we can modify at times is, let's just say they set the construction on a project at $2 million, and it comes back at 2.4 million when you bid it. I can go back and get an amendment if we have funding somewhere that we can pull it from. But it's pretty much set in stone. All your engineering is set. It's just your construction, you can modify it a little bit if there's money available. And if you're creative, it works out pretty good.
Any more discussion? Any more questions? Any discussion from the audience? All right, so do we have a motion? We have a motion by Tracy Girlinghouse. We have a second by Mr. Bubba Harris to adopt a resolution authorizing the parish president to enter contract negotiations and agreement with All South Consulting Engineers LLC and GEC Incorporated to provide professional engineering services to be performed at the direction of the Livingston Parish Government Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness for the Waterway Embankment Stabilization Project.
Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right.
I think that's it for me, so thank y'all so much for letting me
Take
go.
care of yourself, and thanks so much for coming, and we're so happy to have you back. I
I'm
ain't
glad
gonna
to be
lie.
back.
Yes.
Very
Believe it or
happy.
not, 3 weeks out, you start missing everybody.
Yep.
And not being able to talk almost killed me. But I appreciate it.
Take care of yourself, Mr. Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Agenda item number 9. This is a public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance number 19-18. Do we need to read it first or open the public hearing? Read it first. We will now open the public hearing on ordinance number 19-18. Sandy, will you please read that ordinance?
Yes, this is an ordinance to create the Livingston Parish Fire Protection District Number 5 Fire Prevention Bureau by adding section 26-178 Fire Prevention Bureau to chapter 26 Fire Prevention and Protection. Article 2, Division 6, by establishing the Bureau's definition, intent, and regulations pursuant to revised statute 40-1563, in addition to the adoption of the code of the most recent state of Louisiana adopted version of the National Fire Protection Agency Life Safety Code, and as a maintenance code, the State of Louisiana Uniform Fire Protection Prevention Code as defined in revised statute 40-1570.7.
All right. Is there any discussion from the audience on this agenda item? Any discussion from the council? Okay, so do we have a motion to adopt this ordinance number 19-18 to establish Certified Fire Prevention Bureau for Livingston Parish Fire District number 5? We got a motion. We got a motion by Bubba Harris, a second by Scooter King. We definitely need to close the public hearing. All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No? Great. All right. Agenda item number 10. Okay, I will now open a public hearing for the adoption of LP ordinance number 19-19. This is a servitude revocation, McFay, Whitney, Louisiana Highway 1019. All right, Sandy, will you read that, please?
This is an ordinance as follows to wit: revoking the dedication, abandonment, and quitclaiming in favor of McFay Whitley, Vanessa Whitley Bastian, Mary Whitley Moss, and Perlay Whitley Shropshire, portion of a 40-foot all-purpose servitude identified by the crosshatch portion as shown on the preliminary map showing survey of the revocation of portion of a 40-foot all-purpose servitude across track C1A, C2A, and C3A located in section 52, Township 5, South Range 2, East Greensburg Land District, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, by Brett J. Martin, professional land surveyor, dated May 7, 2017.
Close the vote.
All right. Is there any discussion first? Don't you have to do discussion first? All right, is there any discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? No? Any from the council? Nope. Okay, we will now close the public hearing for agenda item number 10. This is the adoption of ordinance number 19-19, servitude revocation, McFay Whitley, Louisiana Highway 1019. We have a motion on the floor by Gary Frog Talbert to adopt this ordinance. Is there a second? There's a second by Tracy Girlinghouse. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right, agenda item number 11. This is a public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance number 19-20. We will now open the public hearing. Sandy, will you please read that?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. This is an ordinance as follows to it, revoking the dedication, abandonment, and quitclaiming in favor of Cheryl Lewis Point and Jimmy R. Lewis, a 30-foot all-purpose servitude identified by the crosshatch portion as shown on the preliminary map showing the revocation of a 30-foot all-purpose servitude across a 2-acre tract, Lot B and Lot 1, located in Section 7, Township 9, South Range 6 East, Greensburg Land District, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, by Brett J. Morton, professional land surveyor, dated May the 6th, 2019.
All right. Is there any discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item?
Yes,
Just state who you are and your address.
I'm Cheryl Andrepont.
I'm James Lewis.
Okay, y'all live where?
I live at 145 Lewis Road, Marpaw,
All right.
on Lot 1. property.
And I live in Youngsville, Louisiana, but I own the 2-acre tract, and they have it Lot A and Lot B.
Okay.
Okay. And we initially, my father owned this land, and he died about a year ago. So after about a year, I contacted McLean Taylor to help us find our corners and, you know, mark everything and locate them for us, which we did. And there was all-purpose servitude that ran across. Well, I can give you a map. Do you need a map?
We have it.
We've got it. We've got
Are
it.
you in favor of the revocation?
Yes, we're here for the revocation, but the shaded part shows the 30-foot all-purpose servitude, and then it comes down on the side of the 2-acre tract. And the original servitude that we were revoking also came between B and Lot 1, and we wanted that revoked. But that's not shaded in on the map.
Okay, so let's hold off on the motions then, since we have a discrepancy. Raymond, do you have?
Well, that's, and, you know, they came a long way, so I wanted to make sure they have a chance to speak and
Right.
stuff. But there's some, like I say, some discrepancy. There was some issues on getting, all of our adjoining neighbors' signatures on this. And we want to go back and meet with Mr. Sam on this before we take it any further.
Okay.
So that's the reason we would like to move it to like the July 25th council meeting.
Okay. Okay. We have a motion to defer agenda item number 11 to July 25th. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mr. Jeff Ard. That motion was Tracy Curlinghouse. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to close the public hearing if there's no more discussion from the audience. Is there any more discussion from the audience? Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing on this. And we're now gonna vote to defer this
Are
to
you
July
okay with that? I
25th.
mean, you'll have to make another trip back?
I'm fine with coming back. Yes,
I just want to get it right the first time.
right.
Okay.
Well, that's
good. Well, that's We just
want to make sure, yeah,
Yeah,
Look it up.
I'm trying to make it easy for you, but
Good job.
Yeah, because, well, I could go into more detail, but the reason, but my dad put this on the map, but it is actually not a travelable servitude. There's trees, and then there's drainage, sewer drainage.
Coming down my driveway that we're trying to get legal goes to Lot 1. When he gets to the little section that he's wanting approval, we just don't agree with, he would have to make a hard right turn to get onto that. Right there on the corner, there's a culvert, there's a septic tank line coming off her property that drains into that. The pipe sticks out about this far. And there's also a light pole there with the guideline coming straight down. Now, if he tries to make a turn in there, if he's pulling
Anybody?
a boat or a trailer with a tractor on it, he's gonna run over that septic tank line and he's gonna hit that guideline. Cause that end is not wide enough to make a turn. It's hard enough to make a turn without a trailer, cause it's narrow.
So are they trying to fight y'all on doing the quick claim? Is that what they're doing?
No.
Well, in essence, I mean,
One of the servitudes, yes, her brother had to sign an okay to remove it.
He has, my brother has the existing all-purpose servitude that was done in the very beginning that comes down, goes across C and D, and extends onto Lot 2.
okay,
But he wants a second access through our property.
right.
He wants two, he
But
wants,
y'all just gotta work that out between
And I
them,
think Sam and them are getting ready to get
whether you do that, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so we'll defer,
Definitely
y'all
need
get it
more
right, we'll make
clarification.
sure and take care of it for you.
All right, so thank y'all very much for coming, and we'll see y'all soon. Is there any more discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? No? All right, we will now close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second to defer this to the 25th. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right,
okay,
thank y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Yep.
All right, agenda item number 12. This is a public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance number 19-21. This is the sale of DPW surplus property, equipment, supplies, and materials. Okay, we will now open the public hearing. Sandy, will you read this one, please?
This is proposed ordinance 19-21. This is an ordinance to declare certain surplus property, equipment, supplies, materials no longer needed for public purposes, provide for its sale by internet sales and or public auction, and provide for the terms of the sale.
Okay, is there any discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? Is there any discussion from the council? I will now close the public hearing. There's a motion by Jeff Ard to adopt this LP ordinance number 19-21. There's a second by Tracy Girlinghouse. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right. Parish President's report. All right. No parish president report.
Yeah, but we still got an introduction to ordinance that we're gonna have to handle without, even if he's not here.
Okay. All right. Okay, there is an agenda item 13A. It is the introduction of ordinance setting the millage rates as adjusted for the tax year 2019. Is there any discussion from the council on this particular agenda item?
This is just housekeeping, Sandy. This is the
Yes.
same millage rates that we had last time.
That's right.
Yeah, they didn't check.
I do it annually every year.
Nothing changed?
Jennifer gave us these numbers.
Jennifer
She
gave the
worked with
numbers.
Assessor's office. Yeah.
Any discussion from the audience on this? Okay, this is the introduction of ordinance. Sandy, will you read it, please?
This will be proposed ordinance 19-22. This is an ordinance setting the millage rates as adjusted for the tax year 2019. The public hearing will be at 6:30 PM on July the 11th.
All right. So, do we have a motion on the floor to introduce this ordinance? We have a motion by Scooter King. We have a second by Tracy Girlinghouse. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right. Agenda item number 15. All right. Resolution authorizing the Department of Public Works to install the following traffic control devices on Cokerville Road off of James Chapel Road. Stop signs, caution pedestrian crossing ahead signs, pedestrian crossing, and crosswalk striping. This is mine. All right, Cokerville Road is off of James Chapel, Fiera Fire Apparatus, okay? Owns a property on one side, and I think they own the property on both sides. But anyway, the employees park on the opposite side of where they work, and they cross over that parish road, and the people are driving kind of fast. And so I was contacted by Eddie Hilbert. He works for Fair Fire Apparatus to see if we could get some a crosswalk and some protect the pedestrian signs out there to try to keep the people safe. And they greatly contribute to our parish, you know, and do lots of great things all over the world. You know, they give fire trucks away, and I just felt like that was the right thing to do. So just kind of wanted to talk about that. Is there any discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? Come on up, Mr. Larry O'Neill. But go ahead and state who you are and your address for the record. Just for the record.
I don't need to say who I am, Larry O'Neill, Marpole, Louisiana. Just a question on that quickly. You said it's by business. Is the business gonna contribute to the cost of doing this, or is this something the parish has to?
The parish is gonna cover this.
Huh?
The parish is gonna cover this on the parish road.
So, okay, all right.
But
A lot of times the business will contribute something on that, so protecting money.
Yeah, this will be at the expense of the Livingston Parish taxpayers. Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right, is there any more discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? Any discussion from the council? Do we have a motion on the floor to pass a resolution authorizing the Department of Public Works to install the following as I detailed earlier? We have a motion by Bubba Harris. We have a second by Jeff Ard. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, agenda item number 16, a resolution authorizing the Department of Public Works to install no dumping road signs on Hilton Hood Road off of 4-H Club Road. This is Mr. R.C. Bubba Harris's area.
Yes, we've been watching that area down there, and we pick up the trash, and next thing you know, it's back there again, but there's no signs saying no dumping. So now I have discussed it with Sam, and he says he's gonna have some signs made of no dumping. And then it's going to tack on a $500 fine if you're caught dumping there. And I'd like to pass that.
All right, so is that a motion?
Is the
Mr.
resolution gonna make those signs legal, or do we need to make an ordinance that says you can't do that?
No, you don't need an ordinance for that.
On the no dumping? Okay.
That's what he told me, is, he had, talked to Mr. Chris Moody about it.
We probably already have a ordinance for
But we
prohibits
probably-
dumping.
Yeah.
Unless you're at the dump, dumping is illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we just wanna make
at the
sure it's
same
legal.
note, you can also say that sign's probably not gonna stop them. They're driving back.
No, but if they happen to get caught and the sign's there,
Yeah,
and the fine's there, shame on them.
I'm not
So
opposed
this
to it at all, I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
kinda like a speed limit sign.
right.
So this is a resolution to install the no dumping road signs.
Right.
Okay.
Just in case they were unaware, we're gonna have some
That you
nice
couldn't
signs
do
out there that
this.
says,
But you're not
Don't
supposed
dump.
to live
that's right.
Old couch on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I'll make
Is
that.
there any discussion from the audience?
But dumpers will be shot, that'll solve the problem.
You might be crossing into the state.
free state of liberty.
We cannot go back to the old west.
We have a motion by Tracy Gerlinghouse, a second by Jeff Ard to pass this resolution authorizing the Department of Works to install the no dumping signs. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Agenda item 17, Recreation District Number 2. This is a board member removal and a board member appointment. This is Gary Frog Talbert's district. Number 17 is the agenda item.
If y'all remember back on April 11th, we removed a board member because he had been absent quite a bit. And in interviewing a bunch of individuals for the spot, kind of got to a point where I had a couple people that I thought were very qualified. And it came to my attention, I've got another board member that has missed 50% of the meetings this year and 42% of the meetings last year, Brandon James Clark. So, or James Brandon Clark. So I would like to, at this point in time, and I talked to Mr. Clark about it, at this point in time, I'd like to remove James Brandon Clark, and appoint Miss April Dawn Curtis. And in Mr. Dean Irwin's spot, I'd like to appoint Miss Vicky Brown.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the audience on that? All right, that's a motion on the floor by Mr. Gary Frog Talbert to do exactly what he previously stated. We have a second by Mr. Jeff Ard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right. 18. I'm trying to find this in the little book here. This one.
Flip this.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, agenda item 18, board resignation and reappointments. 18A, this is Livingston Parish Library Board appointment. This is Mr. Tab Lobell's appointment, but he couldn't make it tonight. So I'm gonna be able to handle this for him. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna reappoint, well, it's written to reappoint Mr. Larry O'Neill to this Livingston Parish Library Board. Is there any discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? Any from the council? There's a motion on the floor by Jeff Ard. There's a second by Gary Talbert. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, agenda item 18B. This is Fire Protection District 9. This is also Mr. Tabbs. To the, he just, yeah, Sandy, say something.
Mr. Brian Suley, who is in Tabbs District, he can no longer serve on the board, and he signed a resignation letter that we received by email.
Yeah.
But he's actually, I'm sorry, he's expired January 1st, is that correct, 2019?
Yeah, January 1st, 2019.
So we really don't need his resignation to accept it, but y'all can do it just because he did it. And, Tab wanted to appoint Michael Hood from his district. And
Okay.
put in Brian's place, if that was okay.
Motion to accept resignation and appoint the new appointee with one resignation, if that's okay.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept Brian Swaley's resignation and to appoint Michael D. Hood to Fire Protection District number 9. Is there any discussion from the audience on this particular agenda item? We have a second by Tracy Gerlinghouse on that. That motion was made by John Wascom. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. All right, Fire Protection District number 10.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Okay, with the passing of Mr. Jimmy Alford, Jason Hodges has asked to be appointed to that. I've been knowing him a long time. He's gonna do a great job on that. I've talked to some people out there. It's gonna be a good thing. So, that is to Fire Protection District number 10 to replace Mr. Jimmy Alford with Jason Hodges. Is there any discussion from the audience on that? Nope. Is there a motion on the floor? Thank you, Mr. Gary Frog Talbert, for making that motion to appoint Mr. Jason Hodges. There's a second by Mr. John Wascom. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right. 18D, this is Recreation District number 2. This is Maurice Scooter Keene's district.
Yeah, we have a board member that's just up for reappointment, and Mr. Talbert has graciously given me a appointment on that board. I hadn't had one.
You took it. You didn't give it to me.
Well, you know what I mean.
You took it.
You know he gave it to me. But I'd like to reappoint Miss Bobby Jo Gayran Cox. She's married now. But to the term.
Yeah, Bob.
All right.
Bobby Joe contacted me and I informed her. I said, you technically live in Scooter's district.
My
so-
neighbor.
So,
Good job, thank you. That was really nice, and
And,
that's great teamwork.
I talked to her, she's been very instrumental in working with everybody up there, and I think she'll do a good job in the future, so I think that's a good appointment.
so I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Scooter King to appoint this lady, as he just previously said. And we have a second by Mr. Gary Talbert. Is there any discussion from the audience? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, great. Agenda item number 19, discussion and adoption of a resolution to authorize waivers and variances for LP 19-03 adopted on January 24th, 2019. Amending section 13-57, where we amended it, the drainage and drainage impact study. That prohibits subsurface drainage in subdivisions where they have open ditches. Okay. I put this on the agenda because Mr. Sam DiGeronimo asked me to, because the Department of Public Works recommends to accept the subsurface installation in Summer Run Court in order to stop erosion on the driveway. This is a subdivision where they have open ditches, and they would like to put some subsurface drainage in. So this is about giving them a waiver to do so, and Scooter knows this area a lot more than me, and he's gonna talk about it.
Very well. I went by today, I got a call from Junior, the road supervisor, and Mr. Huey Como, and it's the only one in the entire subdivision that is not culverted in. And what it's causing is, as the water comes in from the other ones, it's causing erosion and washing out underneath their concrete driveways. So he recommended that in this case, we let them put it in with catch basins, and then when it all levels out, there'll be no more erosion. So it was the best thing to do to fix the subdivision problem. And so I'd like to make a motion.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Scooter King to adopt this resolution authorizing this waiver. And there's a second by Gary Talbert. Is there any discussion from the audience on this? No? Any discussion from the council? Nope. All in favor? Yeah. Any opposed? All right. Agenda item number 20, this is the district attorney's report.
Nothing to report.
All right, nothing to report. Committee report, ordinance committee, Mr. Gary Talbot.
Ordinance committee met today and discussed some more of the sewer ordinance that we've been talking about. Mr. Eddie Idell, and Ms. Dara Lambert came representing AFA, who helped draft the ordinance, and they are the engineer of the Livingston Parish Sewer District, and presented an overview of what some of the issues were that had faced the parish in the past, some of the problems that had occurred, during acquisition of package units by the parish in the past, and outlined what the intention gave us a short version of what the ordinance's intent is, and some of the things some of the benefits that will occur, and some of the things that the ordinance will, change in the law. And now it'll be the work of the parish, after we've got this overview, the work of the committee, to start looking item by item and looking at what they've got drafted and how it will work for us. So like I said earlier, it's gonna be a long process, but we're moving forward. Now, Mr. Harris discussed an issue he's having with grinder pumps and the way they are or have been allowed in the past in subdivisions. And Mr. Harris understands that he doesn't like grinder pumps, but there are instances when they're important, but he thinks that the parish needs to look at a disclosure on property sales where grinder pumps are something that they have, so that the residents purchasing the property will know, and that we're gonna need to talk to Mr. Moody to figure out if that's something that the parish can require in the sale of a property with a grinder pump, a disclosure document or something notifying the individuals before we can move forward with the ordinance. We need an opinion from the parish attorney. Is that something that is possible at the parish level? that was the gist of our meeting today.
All right. Finance Committee,
Didn't need, did they?
Finance committee didn't meet,
we didn't meet.
so
No report. All right.
they moved us to the first Thursday.
The first, second,
Oh, it's the,
the first, second,
I'm
Thursday.
sorry, the first meeting, the first, the second
Yes.
Thursday of the month.
yeah, yes, yes.
Can you clarify?
We're gonna meet next time, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I will.
councilman comments. Is there any councilman comments? Talk about the 4th of July, John.
Well, there's some new faces out here tonight. I just wonder if anyone has anything from the audience would like to say something.
Is there anybody from the audience that would like to say anything?
We've been a quiet bunch tonight, that's unusual.
Mr. Travis Clark, you had nothing you wanted to say, or, I mean, that's,
Good to see you.
I like that.
just for those who don't know, this is the former mayor of Walker, Mr. Travis Clark. He's a real pillar in the community, so.
Yep.
I had nothing else to say. 4th of July, have a happy 4th of July if
Have
you
a
get a
happy
chance.
4th of July.
If you-
Everybody
if-
be
if
safe.
everybody has a chance, go to Lake Marpole at the sandbar, maybe I'll see you there.
Yep.
Hey, the Sandbar, will my bathtub make it to the Sandbar?
Yeah, sure will. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Why do you wanna ruin it?
Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn by John Wascom. We have a second by Mr. Jeff Ard. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This meeting's over.
That's way too